Well, welcome back to the mud shop. I thought I'd let you see a little bit of the shop first, and then we're going to unload a kiln. If you'll look on this wall here are my GR pottery forms. Over here is my slab roller, Shimpo slab roller. Great big giant work table. Uh, Slab mats on top of it. It's called a U-wedge mat. I wedge my clay, roll my clay out, build everything, do everything right there. Then on the end of it is my potter's wheel. You can see it's a clay boss. And yes, it's got clay all over it, but that's okay. Here is my rack that I use to store things. The camera is sitting on my glaze rack. Let me pull it out here, and I will show you. Here's my glazing rack. Under my slab roller is where I keep all of my dipping glazes. Under my work table is where I store my clay. Everything's really handy. And so that's just a sneak peek of the shop. And then, of course, over here on this corner is my kiln. I do have it set up on cement pavers, and on the wall behind it is stove board. People around here have wood stoves, and I use the same stove board. It's a fireproof, plus it is 1-inch spacers away from the wall, so even if it gets hot, the wall does not. So anyway, that's a little short peek at my studio. And if you see the milk crates right here, I have these stacked, and I keep them there to hold different tools. They've ended up being where I keep my plastic and my scrubbers and things. I use pegboard for my cookie cutters, and I've also used the pegboard over here to hang my rolling pins. I got this wonderful rack here, but it didn't hold all my pins. I kind of got more than that. But anyway, so that is a little short look at my shop. Now it's time to open this kiln. I fired the kiln Friday and have not opened it. This is Sunday, so it finished firing about 2:30 in the morning, Friday night, Saturday morning, and I've left it cooling. This is Sunday afternoon. It is at 97 degrees. I wait and don't open it until I can reach in and get things with my bare hands. When I first started pottery, I was so anxious. I would open it up and unload stuff when I had to use gloves. I even had gloves melt. So I quit doing that because that's dangerous to some of my pots. And the temperature shock, especially if it's cool in the shop when I take it out of the kiln, can cause them to crack or have other problems. So I now wait till it is cool enough that I can do everything by hand. So here we go. I've been working on a set of dishes to use for our Christmas banquet at church, and I've been wanting to do this for a couple years, and I've kind of had some health issues for the last year and haven't been able to do it, but I am back on my feet, thank the Lord. And here we go. I've been doing a lot of hand painting, and here is the large dinner plate with my snowman. These are all hand painted. I did take a cookie cutter and hold it on the bisware and draw with a pencil so that I get the outline the same. But other than that, it's all hand painted. Everything's different. Here's the back side. Looks like it's been dipped in snow. Here's your snow at the bottom. And I used Downpour as the blue and Amico Snow. And these are Mako Stroke and Coats that I used to paint the snowman because they are a Wonder Glaze, and so I didn't have to glaze over it. So it didn't obscure the look of the snowman. So that is one plate. Also made tumblers, and my tumblers, I did the little snowflake pattern. I drew these on after it got leather hard, and so there's the little snowflakes I drew on. and just carved into it. And here's the little snowman, and nice size tumbler. They're still just a little bit warm, but they're not hot. Here's the bottom. And of course, when I get through, I will grind down all the kiln wash that's on the bottoms of these, so they'll be nice and smooth. I've got a setting of 4, so here's the rest of the tumblers, and each one of the snowmen, like I say, they're all just a little bit different. The faces are a little different because they're all hand painted, so you can see just a little difference in them. Other than that, they've got the snowflakes and the snow on the bottom. So that's the 4 tumblers. All right, my ornament for this year is a Mississippi snowman or a melted snowman. We don't get a lot of snow here, and when we do, you got to build a snowman really fast or he will melt. He'll look just like this. But anyhow, I'll tie a ribbon on them. Each one has a little hole in them, so you can tie a ribbon through it and hang it on your tree. So that is my ornament for this year. There's a bunch of those in here. I won't show you every one of them. I also fired this on a stilt. I'll pop this stilt off. And this is my ornament. This was a pinch pot ornament. It is hollow inside. And I used Coyote's Really Red and Mako's Light Flux on the top. Here's I use a spoon stilt to fire my spoons. I did make the snowman spoons as stirring spoons for those that have coffee. All right, here are my mini bakers. These are deep fire brick, and this one has sapphire float around the edges. This one has the Mako Light Flux around the edges, but they're both the same color. They are the Amico's. It's a brush on, even though I have it in a 2-gallon bucket. But these are deep fire brick. And because it's Christmas time, I had to do a red one. So this is the, now these are on the 112 stoneware standard brand clay. So it's got a little bit of brown in the specks in it. But this is the Really Red, Coyote's Really Red with the Mako Light Flux on it. Little mini bakers. I'm going to bake little pieces, maybe banana bread or something. All right, my cones. I use the standalone cones, 4, 5, and 6. So you can see I got a good cone 5. You see the 6 started to bend. And that was at the top of the kiln, so that's pretty good. I keep those so that I can compare them. If I start to see a change, then I know it's time to check on the elements. I have fired this 108 times. So far it's been accurate. I do have a Scut kiln. It's the 1027. And it's been a dream. All right, move these posts. Hint, don't drop them on your toes. I know you're laughing. All right, get these out of the way. More posts. All right, here's another plate. I won't bore you with each and every one. Here's a little spoon rest to match that set. And it's got the snowflakes on it. These were made from little wooden plaques that I got from the Dollar Tree. and I used them as a form to push in. I cut out the outside edge just a little bit bigger than the form was, laid it on foam, and pressed into it to make the little plate. All right, here's another spoon. Got the little snowman painted inside. My spoon stilt. And because those spoons were so small, I use a little tiny stilt and place it here to rest the spoon on, because these were too wide for that little narrow spoon. Just an idea. It's a little hint. All right, another plate. Plate number 3 out of 4. All right. This is a refired bowl. I didn't like the way it turned out, so I put color on it. Oh, turned out really pretty. This is Mako's. I would really have to look and see, but I think it's the denim blue with dark flux around the sides, and this is just satin speckle on the outside. This is Coyote brand on the outside, Mako on the inside. It turned out pretty. I like it now. I didn't like it when it was fired the first time. All right, here are my mugs, and the snowman hand painted. 2 out of 4. Here's number 3. And now the 4th one is a surprise inside. If you look inside, there's a snowman inside. But now this one was some kind of tedious to get glazed inside, because I had to paint the snowman first. I couldn't get the cookie cutter in there to draw it out, so I had to just paint it without measuring it, but it still ended up the same size. So I did good there. But then when I put the dark blue around it, it was really hard to get it in there and not cover the snowman. So I decided to not do the inside of the rest of them. So when you drink out of that mug, you just get a treat when you get to the bottom of your drink. You get to see a snowman. All right, some more of the melted snowman. And I did use the Mako Stroke and Coat to glaze each one of these. They're all hand painted. All the faces are a little different. You see his nose is a little bit bigger. His nose is short. It's just however I pinched the clay out. These are all hand pinched, sculpted. So. All right, now to get the big shelf out. All right, now the posts. Okay. All right, here is bowl number 1 of the bowls that go with the snowman set. Perfect size bowl. I love that size bowl. Here is a Christmas tree. This is really red. Coyote's really red. And then I put dots of the Mako Stroke and Coat, different colors. This is a dark blue, a green, a yellow, a white. And they turned out really pretty. And this is on the standard 240 white clay. It turned out really pretty. Be nice to have something to serve your candies or crackers or something. You could actually put cheese ball here and crackers here to serve, or you could fill it with Christmas candies, or you could just stand this up on a rack and use it for decorations. All right, more of the melted snowman. Hint, don't drop them. Okay, all right, more melted snowman. Each one of them has its own little bit of character. Just a tiny bit different because they're all formed handmade. Okay, all right, I also had a request for an egg tray in the red, so I did this one in the 112 speckled clay. It's the brown clay, just to see what color the really red would turn out, how well it would turn out. And I did put a light flux, Mako's light flux on top, and here's the little egg tray. I like this one. That's very pretty. Also, here is, I did put cone 5 cone in the middle and the bottom of the kiln, just to make sure it's firing all the way through evenly. So far it's done well. I have a pink glaze. Someone, a friend who does pottery, is looking for a pink glaze, and I've got one called Pink Opal. It's Mako's Pink Opal, and I did it on, used it on a white clay, and it turned out gorgeous. So I told them I would do a test on the 112 brown clay, since that's what they use is brown. So this is the Pink Opal. Now it may be hard to see. It kind of didn't do as well on the inside. I guess one more coat would have been better. The outside seemed to have had a thicker coat, but I normally do a lighter coat on the outside. But it still turned out pink. And this one I did put the light flux around the edges, just because I like a little contrast with two colors rather than just one. And like I said, I'll sand down all this kiln wash off of it when I get through. So that one was Pink Opal on the speckled clay. All right, let's move some shells. All right, let's see, 2 more bowls of these, the snowman, and here's the bags. I have one bowl I've done already. It's already in the house, I think. No, I brought it here. So I had fired it before. A couple more of the melted snowman. All right, I did a tree plate with the melted snowman on it. I mean, with the snowman on it. He's not melted, not yet. All right, and then again, you can put it on a plate stand, or I like the foot done this way. I have done the foot where you do 3 of the lengths from here to here, and then a little dot on top. I've done one with the zigzag foot, and but I like this one better. I think it just gives it a little more elegance to the back of it, more defined as being a tree. And that's my snowman tree. I got a, I think it's called Western brand Ultra Turquoise, and it is such a gorgeous color. I know it's not a Christmas color, even though some people decorate with blue for Christmas, but I did this one in the Ultra Turquoise, and trying to remember what I put on the edges of it. I can look on my notes. Let's see. Ultra light flux. So the light flux didn't turn white on the Ultra Turquoise. It turned a darker color, if you'll notice. Even though this was the light flux, the same that I put on top of these. So that's something to know. that the light flux turned white on this one, but it did not turn white on this one. But I like the contrast of it. I like how it ran down. I did do dots of the Mako Stroke and Coat in the different colors. But as you can see, they're just dots. It did melt out smooth. Very shiny finish. No pinholes. Here's the back of this one. All right. And this one you could use year-round in the summertime if you're doing a cookout or a campfire dinner or something. You can use this. It's just a tree. Or you could use it at Christmas time. All right. The last two shelves. Last post. Okay. The last plate from the set. Now this has got grog and kiln wash on the bottom of it, but it'll wipe off. Let's see. Here's the lid, two lids to the tumblers. And if you'll notice the specks on here, the Mako Stroke and Coat that I used has a speckle in it. And some of the speckles are all different colors. Some of them are just black. Some of them are dark blue. I see some yellow specks and orange specks. So they are speckled, if you'll see. All right, let's see. These are gift tags. It says to and from, and you can actually write on these with a Sharpie. And then if you want to reuse them later, you just wipe it off with alcohol wipe and rewrite, or just hang them on your Christmas tree and leave the names on them and have ornaments for your Christmas tree. And then I've got a little small one. All right, a couple more melted snowman. All right, 3 more melted snowman this size. And 2 little teeny tiny ones. All right, then I have angel ornaments. All right, these you write, like I can write Forbes on it or turnage on it or Stringer or whatever the last name I'll write. Like I said with the other, write it with Sharpie. And if you want to change it, alcohol wipe, or if you misspell something, alcohol wipe will take it off and then rewrite it. I am going to tie a little wire from here to use to hang and maybe put a ribbon on the little wire. But here's the brown-headed one and the blonde-headed one, and then the one with the really long hair. Of course, I'm partial to long hair. I got it pinned up, but hey, that's me. Okay, and that is everything. I leave the last shelf in the bottom. I leave the grog on the shelf. I don't take it up. I leave it on that bottom shelf so that I can put larger pieces on there. And yes, I do fire big plates and big platters on here. I've heard people say, don't ever put a big platter on the bottom, it'll crack. No, it doesn't if you fire it correctly. Do not open your kiln when it's first finished firing or before it's cooled enough, because when you do, heat rises, the heat comes up, pulls that cold air down to the very bottom of your kiln, thermal shock, cracked plate. But if you leave it closed and leave it alone and fire it like it's supposed to, be patient, you come out with a perfect plate. I never have warping. I never have cracking. The bottom fires just like the top does. And so, yes, I do fire. And here is another look at that speckled snowman, all the different colors, and I think it really adds to it. I love it. Anyway, that is the kiln opening. You can see I stacked it all on the table, and let's see if I can get you close enough where you can. Oh, sorry.